You might be quite familiar with the Alliance Theatre in Newtown. They're a theatre company that have created a short film that we'll play a little bit of a tease of in a little while. But Tim Parks is the artistic director and Paul Martin is the business director. And they can tell me a little bit more. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Hello. Very well, thank you. Marvellous.
Good. Now, is this your way of staying creative when you can't do any actual theatre?
Well, absolutely, yes. We were in the process of setting up our community theatre in the Price Jones building in Newtown, which was a small venue, 120-seat venue. But due to lockdown, we had to close or not progress with it. And we were in the middle of rehearsing for the one-act play festival that takes place every year in Berriew. And we wanted to carry on doing something. So the performers from that play got together and decided to do some little challenges. And Tim came up with some pretty imaginative things for them to do. And we went from there. And so, Tim, tell you a bit about some of the challenges we did.
So when we couldn't perform, couldn't rehearse the one-act plays anymore, we talked about doing these sort of things. And we were doing things like puppet shows that we were sharing with each other on Zoom and things like that. And we were also doing things like writing and performing poetry for each other. We even had an idea of doing a pitch. So we said, right, if we were going to do a pitch for a brand new play on TV, what would we do? And we did things like that. And then we thought, well, for another weekly challenge, we said, well, let's do merchandise for the Alliance Theatre. If you go into the Alliance Theatre and you go to the shop, what do you want to buy? And we were designing all sorts of fantastic stuff for that. And everything got bigger every time. And then that went to, we wrote and performed all online. We did a radio play. And then people said, well, Tim, we want to go bigger. How do we go bigger? And I said, well, I don't know. I'll have to have a think about it. Why don't we include more people? So we went with that. And we said, well, how do we do that? So they said, well, let's find out.
So you decided to make a film?
Absolutely, yeah. So we had this idea, it sort of germinated, that what if we just asked actors to deliver one line, just one line.
Okay.
Could we do some sort of play? So we had to find out how many people might be interested in doing this. And we have 50 people came forward from our own company, from Newtown Musical Theatre, from other groups and from people far and wide. We've even got someone from Canada. We've got people from the south coast of England. And they all wrote to us and said, yes, I'd like to do one, please. And then it was down to Tim to choose a play and make it choose something that everyone could do.
Yeah, because I couldn't pick a monologue from Shakespeare until I knew how many people we had. So once, and the numbers kept growing. I mean, we gave everybody quite a short window to register their interest. And, the numbers kept going up and up and up and up. And everyone was saying, well, what play are we doing? What speech are we doing? And I knew that I wanted to do a fun one from one of his comedies. So I picked As You Like It, a play I happen to know quite well. And within that, there's a speech by the melancholy Jaques, which he talks about a clown that he's met in the forest. And he describes him, and I thought that would be a good one. And I was looking at that, and it was exactly 50 lines. And I said to Paul, that's the one.
Perfect. Well, let's hear a bit of it, because this is an excerpt.
A fool? A fool! I met a fool in the forest.
A motley fool! A miserable world.
As I do live by food, I met a fool.
Who laid him down and basked him in the sun.
And railed on Lady Fortune in good terms.
Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he.
Call me not fool till heaven has sent me fortune.
And then he drew a dial from his poke.
Okay, I love the different approaches taken.
Yeah, it was amazing because people couldn't rehearse together. They had no idea what other people were doing, and they sort of looked at the line they had to recite and chose something from it to base their character on. So
and on the film, you can really see it. I mean, on the radio you can hear all the different ways of saying it, but on the film you've got people doing it in the bath, you've got people doing it in the garden, you've got people doing it in the living rooms, some with costume, some without costume, some jumping about, some sitting quite still. The range of different submissions that we got was really impressive.
Now, you've kind of gone through every possible medium and way to keep people engaged and active during this lockdown, then, haven't you? This must have been as creatively taxing a 4 months as you've had.
Well, it has been in a way because we can't meet up with anyone, so we do things on Zoom, and that's not always easy to do, but people come forward and try things. This one was particularly interesting because people had to go and film themselves on their own mobile phones and deliver the film. So we had loads of different formats. We managed to persuade everyone what landscape was instead of portrait, because we had to at least try and get everyone the image looking about the same.
But then you see, once we got the line, we thought, well, yeah, that's great for the film, but we need a big finish. Alliance Theatre is about memorable performances. We need a big finish. So then, we've got to get everyone to cheer. And so if we have everyone cheering, we can put all those together to make a massive cheer. And I think that was part of the clip you just played.
Now, you have members from both sides of the border, don't you? So have you had, or are you anticipating any issues with the changes and the different types of regulations in place on either side?
Well, obviously, theatres are locked down on everywhere at the moment. Theatres are really difficult to unlock down in a way because it's very hard to have socially distanced people sitting next to each other in a theatre. Rehearsals can be a bit difficult. At the moment, we've done it online with Zoom and so on. But once the lockdown's eased a bit, we hope to be able to get together. And of course, the Alliance Theatre is in Newtown, so we're on the Welsh side, and there'll be different rules on the Welsh side from the English side. So one of our plans was, for example, to do a touring show for Christmas, where we might go to the English side, we might go to Oswestry, we might go to Bishop's Castle, and that would be different there than it is over here.
I mean, that is a nightmare in terms of planning.
Oh, tell me about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's not much we just have to see how things pan out. But for the moment, we can't open our theatres, so we're trying to find other things we can do. And so our plan for the next big project, this is like a forerunner, we hope to maybe try and do an online panto, which will be quite an exciting project that we're kind of put together now.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know how well this project would go. Paul and I were talking about it. Well, it would be great if 10 people want to do it. That would be fab. And in just 7 days, we went from 1 to 50, and it seems that people really enjoyed doing it, even though it was only one line. People enjoyed doing it. And depending on the reaction we get with this, that when people see the film, which is available on our website, alliancetheatre.co.uk, when people see that, hopefully they'll say, oh, that looks like fun, I could do that. I'm not sure about Shakespeare, but it's only one line, I can give it a go. And we'll see if we can go forward with the panto idea.
Because that's such a massive part of the calendar for all theatres, isn't it? Is the theatre used for anything else, or is it completely dormant and empty at the moment?
Oh, at the moment it is. It's empty. We bought a lot of equipment. We've got seating. We have our space in the Price Jones building, but we haven't been able to set it up. So no, we're not able to prepare it yet. And one of our plans was to stage our Christmas panto in Newtown. With the nearest panto to us is Shrewsbury, which is quite a long way for people to go from here. So we wanted to do Jack and the Beanstalk as a traditional panto in our theatre. But with the online version, we think we might go with Cinderella, because we can have lots and lots of ugly sisters taking part, and we think people might enjoy being an ugly sister in a musical like that, in a panto like that.
Because companies like yours are about bringing that building to life, but also giving people a chance to not only indulge their passion for the theatre, but also, I guess, come together and and make friendships and relationships and bonds over what you've got in common. People must really have missed it.
Absolutely. I mean, we wanted Alliance Theatre to be a space for everyone. And, I mean, it's going to be a real community theatre where, yes, I mean, Paul and I, we're going to be rehearsing stuff and putting stuff on, but we want it very much to be a place where other members in the community, other groups can say, well, we've got this, can we come and perform there? Yes, absolutely, come on in and perform.
Yeah.
We want it to be a place where there's something different happening every night. Yes, I'm going to be rehearsing plays, but I want there to be people coming in and say, I want to do comedy, come in and do it. We want there to be people who say, well, we've got this choir, can we come and perform? Absolutely. We want it to be buzzing all the time with loads of different things every night.
Do you worry about the arts in the short to medium term, as people who are clearly passionate about it? Do you worry about what it'll look like in 12, 18 months?
I think it's very serious, actually. I think of all the areas in the economy, theatres are one that is very, very difficult to see how it can function in any kind of restrained way from social distancing. And of course, we all enjoy theatre, whether it's on stage or on TV, films, dramas. They're all from actors who are performing, and if they can't interact with each other and they can't stand next to each other, and the audience can't sit next to each other, is extremely difficult. And obviously, the Chancellor's come up with some financial aid, but it's really just a sticking plaster. And the arts are very much at risk. Theatre companies are closing around the country. Yes, it is a very serious problem.
It is difficult, and it's going to be for creative people to find as many creative solutions as we can to keep people engaged and to keep giving audiences something to watch.
Is there any chance of you doing anything outside in the short term? Because I know there is the ability to do that legally, isn't there?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, we've done outside performances. We've done street performances in Newtown for Christmas, last Christmas, and the one before that. We did Nativity and Christmas Carol. And we got ideas for a medieval banquet, which we could do outside, and outside plays.
Yeah, absolutely right. There's going to be places where people can come to, and working with Newtown Town Council, as we have done in the past on previous productions, we want to find a way to get people together in a safe environment and do what we can, whether that be a play, whether it be a performance, whether it be comedy, with whatever it can be, just to give people a reason to come outside and watch something and have something positive to talk about.
It's brilliant to hear your enthusiasm. In some ways, has this been a challenge that you've been able to relish at times, trying to force yourself to be creative in other ways?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there I was, just happily rehearsing my little play for the One Act Play Festival, diddling along, do a little bit of this, move to the right, move to the left. Suddenly, that's all gone. 2 rehearsals a week goes to no rehearsals, and I've got to think, right, okay, well, that's no good for me. What am I going to do now? I've got to find new projects. I've got a whole company of players saying, Tim, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? So I get to say, Paul, what are we going to do? And he says, right, well, let's think about it. And that's where the challenges came from. And as the weeks turned into months, the challenges got bigger. They got more adventurous, more ambitious, and ended with this film.
And where can people see it? On our website. So it's going to be linked to our website, alliancetheatre.co.uk, and that will take them so they can watch it there.
Brilliant. Keep in touch and let us know when you're doing something new, and we'll shout about it.
Fantastic.
That'd be brilliant. And don't forget to sign up to be an ugly sister.
Do you know, I wouldn't need much makeup. Thank you very much, gents. Tim Parks and Paul Martin from the Alliance Theatre in Newtown. And they have done, frankly, far more than you might expect to keep theatre alive and well on the border, or as well as it can be in the current circumstances.